Oh my God, webheads, let me just tell you, there are so many comic books getting ready to come out on 10/27 that not all of the books made it on this week's list. Which ones made the cut? Well, we'll soon find out. Hey, all my webheads out there, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0, and fans, I am your host, Mike Spider Slayer, always helping you make decisions of what comic books to buy, and today, guys, I am bringing you my top 10 most anticipated comics for October 27th, 2021. That's right, guys, it's never too early to start that pull list for next week, and yes, hopefully this list will help you make decisions on what comic books to buy, because there are a ton of comics getting ready to come out for that particular comic book week. But before we jump into it, guys, why don't you consider going on to my home screen, hit that join button. It does help support my channel, and it does give you, the viewers, some extra perks. So thank you so much for that, and thank you all for just watching and doing all that great stuff with the channel. All right, guys, so let's jump into it. Let's kick off this countdown this week with the hot seat. And the hot seat is Inferno issue 2. Some of you might be surprised about this, but I am not, because in many ways, as much as I really like Hickman's run on X-Men, at least House of X and Powers of 10, I'm just kind of over it. I'm done with that chapter of X-Men. And when I read Inferno issue 1, it was a lot of setting up, a lot of catching up, a lot of reminder of what was going on. And by the time you wind up getting to the end of the issue, you're kind of like, oh, okay, well, Destiny's back, and who brought her back? And Mr. Sinister was laughing, and it was a good ending. And so it kind of makes you want to continue just to see where it goes. Now, same thing with this issue. This issue is a 52-page comic book, and I think they're only doing 3 issues of it, so that's why it is larger. I do feel like there's a lot of story trying to be fit into these 3 issues, and that's why it seems a little bit overwhelming, where this whole thing has been spread out for like 2 years now, and I felt like I wish Hickman told this story more throughout the pages when he was doing X-Men, instead of dragging it out as long as he did. But that's a whole other case. Nevertheless, it's a $6 book. Do I care enough about it to pick up issue 2? I don't know. We'll see. And again, this is a big comic book week, so I don't know if I'll go out of my way and pick this up. But we'll see. You never know. Knowing me, I probably will. All right, guys, so let's move on to the book that is on the rise, the book that, impressed me on the first issue, and this one goes to Deathstroke Incorporated. This is issue 2, and this time Deathstroke is going in space, and I think that could be a fun adventure, and I think this is a book that you can have fun with. This story was about Deathstroke and Black Canary working together with this team by the name of Trust. And Deathstroke is trying to be on the straight path now, doing this for his family. At least that's what you're led to believe based off of the first issue. Also, Black Canary doesn't really give her true motive of why she is on this team. And she was about to spill the beans, but it was kind of put on the back burner due to the mission that they were a part of, taking down Hive. So we'll see what happens with this one, with them being in space, and maybe the main plot unravels a little bit more, but I think this could be good. The only downfall with this story for me is the artwork. It's not my favorite art, but it's still okay. And this one is 32 pages, and this one is $4. All right, now we're officially at number 10. And if it wasn't for Inferno, I feel like this book would have been on my hot seat, because I have to invest 12 issues into this, and this one is DC versus Vampires issue 1. This is just, I don't know, it feels like Deceased all over again, but it's not with the same writer, right? So when it comes to these zombie books, vampire books, I'm very hesitant about them. That's why I was so hesitant on The Walking Dead back in the day, because I'm like, what kind of story can you tell with freaking zombies, right? Same thing, like how long can you tell a story with freaking vampires in here? So it says, DC versus Vampires is a special standalone 12-issue maxi series that will pit the Justice League against the secret army of the vampires, and our heroes are unsure who they can trust. So some people are going to be disguised as vampires and you're not going to know, and they're going to eat your neck and they're going to suck your blood dry. Like, that's what's going to happen in this freaking book, I think. You know, could it be cool artwork? Could it be like pretty sweet looking deaths? Yeah, it probably could be, you know, and that's what's fun about these books, because at the same time, you can't take them seriously. You just have fun with them. But do we need 12 issues of it? That's kind of where I'm like, oh, do I want to invest 12 issues? So again, only 32-page comic, $4 for this one. Number 9 this week, and this is pretty low, but considering all the books again that are coming out, it's pretty tough here. So we have Black Widow issue 12. The Black Widow fears no man but him. So this book has become pretty cool, as she's created like her own web of heroes, where she's got Yelena in there, and she's got Arana, and then she's come up with this character by the name of Lucy. There's this new bad guy by the name of Apache that's powered up people off of the street and is giving them superpowers. And now that that's kind of all taken care of, she's kind of doing some investigating of what this guy has been up to besides those main people. And also she's trying to find out where her pretend family went based off of the first story arc, like her husband and her son. And it's kind of cool because she's still kind of keeping secrets from her team, and yet she's working with this source guy, and it's pretty cool, man. It's awesome writing by Kelly Thompson. Definitely gives the character a lot more layers. I can appreciate it. So yeah, I always recommend this book, guys. Great stuff. If you're following legacy numbering, this is Legacy 52, only 28 pages, $4 comic book. Moving right along, guys, we are at number 8, and this week's number 8 most anticipated winds up going to Spawn. This is issue 323. Let me tell you guys, Spawn has been really, really good lately, and the last issue was just this 2-issue little mini story arc in between everything that's going on, with Spawn taking on a vampire who held a girl captive for about 4 years. And what he did to this guy, to this vampire, was absolute, complete torture, and it was so intriguing. It was such a great page turner, and the artwork was absolutely gorgeous, and I loved it. It was awesome to see what this vampire deserved because of what he did to this girl, right? So awesome. So we're going to get a new story here going forward, obviously, I guess connecting to the whole Spawn universe. There's nothing that I can't say about Spawn that's not good right now. 32 pages, $3. Moving on to number 7, we got Daredevil issue 35. Looks like we're coming to the end of this. This is Lockdown Part 5, and Lockdown continues as Bullseye reigns over New York City, and it looks like a Bullseye is going to be facing Elektra in this issue. That's going to be awesome. It's another rematch. We had Bullseye clones running around in the previous issues that was created by the mayor, Kingpin himself, and my gosh, this book has been so good. Daredevil's out of jail finally, and it looks like we're going to get a climactic conclusion to this run before we go on to this whole event that's going to happen very shortly. Can't wait for this one. Guys, legacy numbering on Daredevil is at 647, 28 page count for this comic book, and a $4 price tag. So let's continue with another great independent comic book right now. Guys, this is Radiant Black. This is issue 9. So it looks like, I think we're going to get a new story arc here, because we got to see our Radiant team wind up coming together to defeat that villain, which we call him Glitch, where our main character winds up sucking him into his armor and he just disappears. Gave them all warning, of course, before all that happened. But Kyle Higgins is hitting this book out of the park. I love the artwork. I love the color work in this book. I love everything about it. Shit, even though the word bubbles, all that stuff in there, I love that stuff. So good in here. It's 32 pages, $4, and it just looks like we're going to begin a new story arc, and we don't know really what it's going to be about. So we'll see what happens here with Marshall and the other Radiants. So again, guys, check this one out. You can buy the trade at the store. It covers issues 1 through 6, and then you got to find 7 and 8 on the rack. You won't be disappointed for it. $10 for that trade. So now we move on to our top 5, and number 5 goes to Darkhawk issue 3. Guess who it's written by? Kyle Higgins, same person that does Radiant Black. And this book is very good. I think this is underrated. I don't know who has been talking about it. I don't know if anybody have been talking about this book, but I knew Darkhawk from the early 90s when he was introduced, had his own series for the longest time. He was in a couple of cosmic events later on in the 2000s. Haven't heard anything from him that much. Right, and now we have a new wielder of the amulet, right? And he's a basketball player, has MS, and now he gets this amulet and he becomes Darkhawk. And in the last issue, something very, very bad has happened. Like, if his life could not get any worse right now, it got significantly worse. But the character work in this book is so well done. It makes you feel for your main character, and it actually also has a cameo appearances by Genki and Miles Morales in it as well. It's just so well written. I really don't want to give away anything that happens, especially since it's so early on in the series. And I think this is only like 5 issues. It's not an ongoing, but it is so well done. If you guys have not read Darkhawk, read it. And if you have read it, leave me comments down below. Let me know what you think of it. All right. So great stuff. 28 pages, $4. Now we move on to number 4. And number 4 goes to Amazing Spider-Man issue 77. I've been impressed with Spider-Man. I enjoyed issue 75, but I was a little upset the way Ben Reilly was. But now, after reading issue 76, I kind of understand where he's coming from, and he redeemed himself. And we wind up seeing what happens to Peter in the last issue, and you're like, oh man. So now you know why Ben Reilly is going to be at the helm, right? He actually got permission from Peter to be Spider-Man, and he feels better about himself knowing that he got his blessings, right? Kelly Thompson writes this particular issue. Where the story goes from here, I think this is where it's going to make the true determination now going forward, up until the end of this little Beyond run, if it's going to be any good or not, because now we'll start seeing random characters, the direction to get Peter back, and all kinds of stuff here. So it looks like Kelly Thompson and Sarah Pacelli will be on this book. That who does the artwork on here. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. I'm looking forward to it. All as I can say is I loved issue 76. Legacy numbering 878, 28 pages, $4. Now we move on to the top 3, getting so close to number 1. Number 3 goes to Robin, issue 7. Love this cover with him reading a manga with Flatline and Robin on it. I think that's pretty cool, man. This is a pretty sweet battle, what's going on Lazarus Island. I've really enjoyed it. I think what Williamson's doing with Damian is really well done also. He's giving Damian something else besides being angry all the time. He's trying to make him into a human being that he himself can actually develop relationships in a island where they're forced to kill each other. And he's going to have to make the tough call at one time or another where he might have to kill somebody that he cares about. I don't know. What's the relationship going to be between Flatline and Robin? I don't know. But the artwork is absolutely gorgeous in this book. I love all the different characters in here, like Hawk and Flatline. And I like the Respawn character, which looks like is attacking Damian at the end of the last issue. Who is that character? Where does he come from? That is the big mystery of this comic book. But I love this book. One of my favorite DC titles right now. 32 pages, $4. Don't pass this one up, guys. Pick it up. And number 2. I'm telling you, man, this is a great week for comics. And number 2 goes to House of Slaughter, issue 1. Man, if you want to know the workings of the House of Slaughter, this is going to be the comic book for you. If you have not gotten on board if something is killing the children, maybe this book might be the book for you to do it, right? Where you can say, okay, well, I don't know the main character yet. I kind of been on the fence about this series. Everyone's talking about it. Well, maybe now you can at least learn about the place where all these characters came from. And you get to learn about her rival, which is Aaron. Creepy looking main cover. There's a ton of covers for this comic book. My gosh, the variants are just insane. It's like too much, right? But nevertheless, I cannot wait. This is just diving deeper into the something is killing the children lore. Great book, I think. And will this one be worth something? Will this be a spec book? Probably not. I think the book that you got to have is that something is killing the children, you know, issue 1 through 5 or 6. Those are the ones that are going to be the worth value. This one is just a spin-off book, but nevertheless, the story is phenomenal, and you're going to want to buy this just for the story alone. So this is a $4 price point. So if that was not number 1 on my list, what could possibly be on Mike Spider Slayer's most anticipated list this week? Well, this one goes to none other, the long-awaited Venom issue 1. The series that is coming off the heels of Donny Cates' run now is being kicked off by like Al Ewing and Ram V and just multiple people here. And I want to see where they take Eddie and Dylan at this, you know, what's their next chapter, right? It's going to be tough. There is not going to be too many titles I feel, or too many writers that can top Donny Cates' run on Venom. So what does he do differently here? How does Dylan handle the Venom symbiote, right? It looks like these two are not going to get along so well based off of solicitations that I've read. This might be a little bit more horrific. I don't know 100%, but I would like that, especially if how Al Ewing is involved. It's got to be something different, right? Something different than what he like he did on Immortal Hulk. I don't know if I agree with Venom holding chains. I think that's lame, and that reminds me of something from the 90s. And no pun intended here, because I'm a kid from the 90s. I read all those comic books, but that just seems dumb. Why does a symbiote alien creature need chains, right? I mean, it's Dylan. He says it's cool, but for me, that's not cool. I don't know if you guys agree with me on that, but neither here or there. We'll see what Venom has to offer going forward in this next chapter. Legacy 201. 52-page comic book. Your price here is going to be $6. Can't wait for this one. So guys, there you have it. There are my top 10 most anticipated comic books for October 27th, 2021. Guys, I want to know what you're looking forward to the most. Is there something here that I didn't mention? I'm sure there is. There's a bunch of books that I had to pass on. One of them especially was Primordial, issue 2. That is one of those books, and there were some other ones too, but there was a lot coming out this week, so get your wallets ready. So guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit that bell. And of course, guys, if you like the content, I'm going to leave it right next to me. All you got to do is click it and watch some more Comic Book Corner 2.0. So until next time, guys, always keep buying, keep collecting, and most importantly, keep reading those comic books. Until next time, guys, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. I'll see you real soon. Bye.